gonna do reading, and I thought it'd be fun to kind of do like, what is the tea on you? The hot goss on the streets. Let's see what is going on. What are people thinking about you, pretty much? What are they saying? Let's dive right into it. Yes, please and thank you, Spirit. What's the hot goss on the collective right now? What's the hot goss? What's the tea? What's the tea? What are they saying? What are they saying about the collective here? I'm so sad because I actually started this reading already, but then realized I wasn't recording for like, I don't know, 15 minutes to a half hour. And that's fine. We can just start over again, right? Right. Anywho, that's neither here nor there. Anything else, please, and thank you, Spirit. Okay. Ooh, okay. Ooh. Okay. Well, we have the Eight of Cups, Six of Wands, Eight of Pentacles. The way that I said it was like Pentacles. Anyways, the Fool card, the Knight of Swords. Bottom of the deck we have Seven of Wands. Very nice. Okay, let's just start clarifying. Starting with that Eight of Cups, please and thank you, Spirit. What is that all about? What are they saying about the collective with that Eight of Cups? Who's saying this? And what's going on here? What's going on here? What's the big idea? Did I need to flip over here? Okay. So the Eight of Cups is a card about leaving behind what no longer serves you and actively searching for what it is that actually does fulfill you. And that's a very healthy, beautiful thing. It's not as depressing as this card looks. It's not as bleak as that. I mean, when you are actively moving away from something or someone that no longer fulfills you, that can be difficult, but it's ultimately for your own good. This is so interesting. It was clarified by the King of Wands in the reverse, the Chariot card in the reverse, the Emperor in the reverse, the Moon card in the reverse, and then the Nine of Wands upright, and bottom of the deck is the Knight of Swords, which we already saw here, so double confirmation for that. Well, my biggest guess here, well, it's not really a guess. I'm like putting the cards together to actually make a message here. Yeah, the vibes are, you left behind a lot of toxic people. The King of Wands in the reverse would probably be somebody that's, you know, really fiery and passionate, but in all the wrong way. I don't want to say the wrong ways, because like what is right and wrong, like objectively, it's subjective, right? But typically the King of Wands in the reverse I would see as somebody that is confident to the point of cockiness, somebody that probably has like big talk, like they're all talk and no action. Yeah, it's like a dreamer, but the dreamer that never does what they're gonna say, what they say they're gonna do, kind of thing, is what I'm getting from that. The kind of person that's like, you know, dreaming all these things, is super passionate about a lot of things, but then in the reality of it, never actually acts upon them, which actually perfectly, I think, embodies the Chariot card in the reverse, because upright, this would be like a card of forward motion, right? But this is somebody from your past that you left behind that just was never doing the things they said they were going to do, or like they were constantly very disappointed because they probably acted like they were like super serious, mature and whatnot, but it's like when it came down to it, they weren't who they said they were. So there could even have been a duplicity to them. Yeah. just somebody that kind of, it feels like it was just somebody that was wasting your time, more or less, because it's like, if at the end of the day you're not actually acting on any of these things, then like, what are you even talking about? I feel like you're more so the type of person to put things into action, especially because we're clarifying that Eight of Cups. Like, this is who you are. You actually walk away from things that no longer serve you, whereas maybe this person's too lazy to even do that. Yeah, it feels almost like a state of like apathy, like this is the type of person that would probably just stay with someone in a relationship out of convenience rather than any real heartfelt reason. And that's like, so like, it goes against all of the qualities of a King of Wands in the upright, because a King of Wands in the upright is going to be passionate, driven, you know, wanting to go forward with their ideas and explore things and do things, like, so it's really like a very much the shadow end of it, where it's like they're not doing those things, they're not actually following their heart. And then we have this Emperor in the reverse. So these are two energies specifically that are coming out in particular that were not healthy individuals that you left behind. And somebody is talking about this. They're talking about how you have had probably the short end of the stick when it comes to relationships, or even just romantic entanglements, I want to say. So it could even have been situationships that never really took off, kind of thing. But the Emperor is typically somebody that's very powerful, somebody that's really well respected. But in the reverse, it could be somebody that's overly controlling, somebody that's probably manipulative. They abuse their power rather than use it for the right reasons. I'm getting like this sense of being unevolved. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm getting that this is somebody that probably was born with a silver spoon in their mouth, if you know what I'm saying. Somebody that kind of comes from a sort of privileged in some regard background. Maybe they always had finances under control, or they grew up in a, you know, doesn't even have to be an affluent family, it could just be a family that didn't struggle with finances. And so they don't know that struggle of what it feels like to be in lack in that certain, I don't know. It feels like they are privileged but almost blinded to where they're privileged. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah, you could have like sensed these characteristics about this person. And that's probably why you had to walk away from them, because you're just like, something's not quite right here. Because I don't know if they really showed this to you, because I'm getting that duplicity. So I feel like maybe they tried to save face and come in as the Emperor in the upright, like somebody that's like, I'm well respected, I'm very mature, I'm experienced. I think they were being really fake to you, and you could see through the mask. Oh my gosh, actually that goes really perfectly with the next card, the Moon card in the reverse. So, ooh, okay. So, the Moon card upright is all about secrets, hidden emotions, fear of the unknown. But with it being in the reverse, I feel like that means that something's coming to light, either now or maybe it did in the past, about this Emperor and who they really are was being exposed or is being exposed. And that probably is what triggered you to be like, I'm out of here, I'm not dealing with that. I'm just not. I don't know why, but I'm not paid enough for that. So maybe this is like maybe a boss of yours, or maybe you knew this person in some regard, like co-worker wise, I don't know. Or it could just be like saying generally like, I don't get paid enough for that. Or, you know, if you're applying it to non-career, it would be like, I don't get enough benefits to put in this much effort, kind of thing. From this situation. But yeah, this person's secrets are being exposed. What they've done in the dark is coming to light. But But this is all about what's being told or talked about you in some... Ooh, I think I see now. You, I think, may have left specifically this person behind before things came to light. So I feel like almost you jumped, what is the saying I'm trying to think of? You like dive ship, you like, what am I trying to say? You jumped ship, I think that's the word, phrase. You jumped ship before things really went down, is what I'm getting. Oh yes, because emotions are attached to that Eight of Cups. You could be somebody that's very in tune with your own emotions and your intuition. I think you're very much in tune with your intuition because it feels like you felt or sensed something about this person before anyone else did. So while this person was saving face, pretending to be one thing when they were completely another, I feel like it's now coming to light and people are talking about how lucky you are that you weren't caught in the crossfire here. Because you could have, like, if you were attached to this person, whatever came to light about this person could have been attached to you if you weren't careful. If you were seen with this person or something. The Emperor is also typically seen as a married person. So it could have something to do with that. Maybe this person was trying to make you believe that they were interested in you, that you were the only person in their life. You know, come to find out they have a wife and kids at home and you're just like, what? But this is really smart. I'm getting, that's what they're saying. They're saying, like, you know when to leave people. And that's not something that everybody has. Not everybody can do that. And I want to emphasize that that's really good that you're able to do that. Because that shows a lot of self-respect. That shows a lot of inner confidence. Really good qualities that go behind, that are behind doing those types of actions. Because not everybody will. Not everybody has the strength or the fortitude or the foresight to leave these types of people behind. Especially people that they're romantically attached to. But you are smart, you've evolved. You know the red flags to look out for, and you know how to read people without them even saying a word, you know, kind of thing. Because you're incredibly powerful and incredibly intuitive, which could also be what this moon card in the reverse is saying to a degree. Like, I almost feel like because you're highly intuitive, you caught wind of something sketchy going on behind the scenes, and maybe you couldn't quite put your finger on it, but you backed away from this person, and then it's like after you back away, boom, this person, how they were perceived comes crumbling down. Their mask is torn right off, and they are exposed for exactly who they are, which is probably somebody that's really controlling, somebody that's manipulative, abuses their power, all that kind of stuff. And then we have the Nine of Wands upright. So from this perspective, I'm hearing, you know, the talk that is going on is you know who's here for you, who's not. You have a good intuition, butterfly, which is great because I saw a butterfly earlier as well. So transformation, you probably transformed a lot and learned a lot on your journey, and that's helping you tremendously. And it seemed like it was a yellow monarch, so I'm gonna look that up and maybe that'll have significance. Anyways, Nine of Wands. So this person who is talking about your past and how you've left these people behind because of your intuition, foresight, you know, self-respect. You've left these people behind because you're like, okay, I'm picking up on red flags. I don't feel like this is going anywhere good. I'm gonna head out. And I think somebody is seeing that and appreciating that about you. But at the same time, I think that they kind of see you as somebody that may have your guard up. But it's understandable because it seems like you were dealing with some really sketchy people from the past. So I feel like you kind of had to build this wall and maybe set some boundaries, set some restrictions on who gains access to you because you're an incredibly valuable human being. And you know that about yourself. But it has left its mark. Like these difficult situations, you're like, yeah, I can leave these people behind, but I'm not gonna act like it doesn't hurt in the moment, that it doesn't suck, that it doesn't feel disappointing. But you're able to kind of like be conscious of that so that it doesn't go out of control. I don't think that you are the wounded warrior in the way of like being really down and out about it. I think you're kind of just like, well, you know, it sucks because I thought maybe this person, you know, meant something to me, or that I meant something to this person, but you know, I guess that's just the way it goes. You know, I feel like you are disappointed and sad, but you don't stay in that energy is what I'm getting. But I feel like the person that's talking about you may kind of feel a sense of like, I don't want to say the word pity, but maybe empathy or sympathy for you, because it's like, yeah, they're able to like move away from these people that don't have their best interest at heart. But at the end of the day, that probably is, you know, taking its toll on the collective. And that's probably not a very easy thing to do. And like, maybe even this person's like, I understand why they have their guard up because of all their past experiences. So this could even be the person that's saying all of this. They know something about your past, and that could be maybe just based on what other people have told them or what they've picked up through cues or something. But they're coming from a perspective of like, I see why they have their guard up. So this could be somebody that wants you to let your guard down so that they can come in and maybe express themselves towards you. Because I almost feel like this is coming from a perspective of, I have a lot of sympathy or empathy for this person because of, you know, the hard choices they've had to make, and you know, them being kind of screwed over by other people. I really like, you know, understand that is kind of the perspective I'm getting. So this is not like some bad gossip on you. I think it's really just somebody like saying like, wow, I understand, you know, if they went through all that, like I would have my guard up too if I were them. But they have at the bottom of this deck, Knight of Swords. So if this is coming from the perspective of someone who sees what you've been through, empathizes with it, and they want you to let your guard down around them, they're probably trying to come in and communicate. I don't want to go as far as to say that this person is romantically interested in you, but maybe this person was like maybe they were involved in these storylines to a degree, or they were involved in your life at that point when you were making these difficult decisions and moving away from these people. So it could really just even be like a message from this person, like, I'm so sorry that I, you know, didn't, you know, stand up for you when I had the chance, or I didn't, I don't know. They could have regrets that they really want to express to you, or maybe they just want to talk about those past experiences in general, and maybe the fact that you have your guard up in some regard. But let's see what's underneath that. Justice. Oh my gosh, that with the Knight of Swords. The truth is being exposed, and quickly, with the Knight of Swords. So, this person that's talking about you, they empathize with your situation, but maybe they're the one that's going to share with you whatever's coming to light about this Emperor. The wind started picking up as I'm saying this, so this Knight of Swords is probably this person that's coming in to be like, this person got exposed, the truth is out there, justice is served, and now there's a balancing of the scales. So if you felt like you were in this place of like, wow, it's really unfair that maybe I have to pay the price for somebody else's immaturity, or you know, it's kind of crummy that this person's not getting exposed for the person that they are deep down, and they're kind of maybe just getting through life pretending to be someone else, and you could have felt like kind of reasonably salty about that, because it's just like, I hope that somebody exposes them at some point, but maybe you felt like it wasn't necessarily your place, or maybe it was just your intuition at that point, and you didn't want to just like expose somebody based off of intuitive downloads, which is pretty smart. You kind of waited for it to hit reality and for those things to actually come to light on their own, which I think is really smart too, because you're not like being seen as somebody that's lower vibration and kind of petty in that way. You're keeping your high vibration. Like, you don't want to stoop to these people's depths and how low they can go. You're like, I'm gonna just do me. I'm gonna move on with my life. I'm gonna just do whatever's best for me. And I think that's serving you tremendously. And you're gonna be receiving justice, and it feels like a karmic sense of justice, where people are getting exposed for exactly who the hell they are, not who they want to be perceived as. I'm just curious. I want to see what's underneath that justice card. 6 of Pentacles. That's you being in the mode of receiving. So yeah, I feel like this person is coming forward with this message very quickly, very enthusiastically, and it has to do with the justice, and the justice is related to truth being exposed, being put out there for all to see. And so the 6 of Pentacles could be that you feel the value of this justice taking place from Spirit. I almost feel like it's like you receiving this message about this person being exposed. You feel like there's some sense of value in that. And you feel maybe like, thank you, Spirit. I almost feel that kind of sense where you're like taking a moment to be like, thank you, Spirit, for exposing this person, because they definitely needed to be exposed. So that's one thing. But it also could be like this person bringing this information forward to your attention could also kind of trigger that moment of being very grateful for what you're receiving. You know, like, oh, that really makes my day, knowing that people that deserve to be exposed are being exposed. And it's like you almost did. Honestly, I don't think you had to do anything. This person probably naturally exposed themselves in some way. Bro. Like, this is completely, like, not related to my surroundings, but I just had a download when I said exposing themselves. This could be somebody that did something inappropriate. And the Emperor can deal with bosses or somebody that's in a position of power in general. So it almost feels like they could have done something inappropriate that crossed boundaries, and now they're getting reprimanded for that. And it feels rightfully so. That is some tea. So yeah, that's the tea that's on you in this part of the reading. Is somebody that you may have had feelings for at one time, but you were like, the vibes are off, I'm gonna head out. You get to see everything come full circle now. And the things that they were trying to hide about themselves are coming to light. And you didn't have to do anything. Spirit did it all for you, is what it feels like. Okay. And so maybe that's the gift. You know, and both the Justice card has these equal scales. The scales are equal here. And the scales are equal as well in the 6 of Pentacles. So I feel like it's this justice that feels like a gift. And maybe it helps to reassure you that, you know, Spirit really is giving people their karma, like delivering their karma, or it helps you believe in your intuition more. It gives you a sense of like, yay, I'm not crazy, even like if you were feeling like this intuition of something being not right. Wow, this is such a beautiful message and empowering as hell. And this is gonna feel so good, I feel like, because I feel like you've been effed over by some people that were really not here for you. They pretended to be, but they just were not it at the end of the day. And now they're being exposed for exactly who they are and probably who they hurt in the process. And you didn't have to do anything. You literally just sat back and you're like, I'm gonna let Spirit handle this, and Spirit did. I love that. Let's go on to the 6 of Wands now and clarify that. Please and thank you, Spirit. What do we got here for the 6 of Wands for the collective? What is the tea? What is the gossip? The hot gas? I'm feeling the messages today. They're good. Okay, awesome. Good messages. Okay. So clarifying that Six of Wands, first off, that Six of Wands is a card of your success and being recognized, celebrated for your successes. There's probably a certain milestone that you're reaching and people are really like, oh my gosh, you did it. Like, that's what it feels like. The Tower card in the reverse, that came out. I'm gonna wait until after I show you all the cards before I say anything. Four of Pentacles. Oh, I think it was the Four of Pentacles and then the Tower card in the reverse. So we'll do Four of Pentacles first. But and then there was a few more cards that came out. We have the Queen of Cups upright, the Empress upright, King of Cups. Sorry, I saw the King of Cups earlier. Knight of Cups upright, and then bottom of the deck we have the World card. So you're coming into a time of success. People are celebrating you. Ooh, I'm getting a really good subplot here. So with the Four of Pentacles in the reverse, Four of Pentacles upright is usually like clinging unhealthily to things, especially things that have outworn their welcome, you know? Things that haven't expired in the process of you clinging on to them, which perfectly aligns with that message we got with the Eight of Cups. I feel like you're very much about releasing those types of things, which is really what that Four of Pentacles in the reverse is talking about. You're not clinging on to anything anymore, especially not material things, especially not like superficial things, I want to say. Like, you're letting things go. If you feel like it's outwearing its welcome, if you feel like this has an expiration date that has, you know, been met, you're like, okay, I think we need to get rid of that. We need to kind of cleanse ourselves of that. And I think because you're doing that, the Tower card upright is typically a card of kind of chaos. I'm just gonna say it typically is. And you know, things kind of crumbling down all around you, and you're like, okay, I gotta pick up the pieces and build something back somehow. And it can be really overwhelming energy. But with that Four of Pentacles in the reverse and that being followed by the Tower card in the reverse, I think that because you released something or someone even in the right amount of time, or perfect timing or something, divine timing I'm getting, because you did that, this Tower moment that could have really messed up your life if you had held on to this could have really messed up your life in some way, really shaken it up in a maybe not so exciting way. But with it being in the reverse, with this being in the reverse as well, that feels like because you release something, maybe within a certain amount of timing or whatever, you listen to your intuitive downloads, you're like, okay, I need to release this. I feel like, you know, I need to. And you did that. You listened to your intuition, you released things. And because of that, I think you're missing this Tower moment. It's almost like you, okay, I'm literally getting a tower falling. But this is kind of funny because it's almost like you would have been in the path of that tower physically falling on you. But it's like you stepped to the side and just let the tower fall right beside you. And you're like, wow, that's crazy. That could have been me. I don't know why, but that's really cracking me up because that's like the feeling I'm getting is like, because you release something, and it's probably because your intuition probably told you, or spirit kind of communicated to you that like this isn't meant for you, and you trusted that, you released something, and then it's like when the tower falls in that situation, you're like, oh, that could have been me right there. I could have been wrapped up in all of that. Thank God I left when I did. That's the kind of energy I'm getting. And that's also probably why you're in this successful energy. Because you're listening to your intuition, you're going with what spirit is guiding you to do. You don't have any hesitation or resistance to that. It feels very flowy, but because you're in that flowy energy, things are really working out for you and are in your favor during this time. So it almost feels like, in terms of what the tea is here, I feel like somebody's talking about how you released something and then it turned to shit pretty much. But at the same time, you're in the spotlight, looking beautiful, standing out in some regard. Your unique skills, talents, abilities are being really celebrated. It almost is like, it's very clear who deserved the bad karma and who didn't, because based on what's happening in this situation. And that's kind of like, I think where this person's coming from is talking about like, oh, isn't that crazy that that person, the collective, left behind so-and-so, you know, last year, and now they're coming, you know, now their life is falling apart and the collective is looking amazing. So seems like the collective was maybe more so in alignment, higher vibration, or, you know, whatever, good karma. So yeah, it feels like that's definitely part of this that they're talking about. And then the energy that you're in is gorgeous, because we have the Queen of Cups, water sign energy, so very much in tune with your intuition, your feelings, your emotions. I'm getting that you could have even been called sensitive in the past, but in a bad way, in an insulting sort of way, is what I feel. People could have kind of used that against you, like, oh, you're so sensitive, grow up, or, you know, suck it up, life is like that, like, you know, and you're like, I just care about the animals and the environment, you know, like, it feels like you're very caring, and you're like, why should I be punished for caring about things? And why should I repress that I care about things? That's the kind of feeling I'm getting with this, is like, the things that once were seen as a weakness are now being seen, rightfully so, as a strength. So yeah, you're being seen as a very loving, high vibrational person who has a kind heart and who is genuine and powerful as well, because it's a queen. And speaking of power, we have the Empress as well coming out upright. So not only do you have this beautiful heart, but you're being seen as somebody that's very attractive, somebody that's very abundant. So this success could have something to do with accumulating some sense of abundance or a sense of security within yourself, within your life. But you're being taken seriously, and you're being seen as somebody that is very much in tune with your emotions, your feelings, intuition. You're connected to the divine, so you're getting those messages from spirit. And you're kind of just letting that lead you down this road to success. And that's what other people are seeing right now. The Knight of Cups. You're also attracting somebody towards you romantically because of the vibration you're in, because of the work you've been doing on yourself, because maybe you're in the spotlight to some degree and standing out in a really special way. And somebody's like, wow, look at that person. Like, that's kind of what I feel with that Knight of Cups, is somebody is very, very impressed by you, and they'd like to maybe learn a little bit more about you in a romantic sense. So yeah, this could be somebody that's like coming towards you. So the T here, I feel like somebody here knows that you released something, and then whatever you released turned to crap, and you left in the perfect amount of timing. And you're glowing up, you're looking awesome, you're doing really well. And then either this person that's talking about this situation or situations, when it relates to you, either they know who this Knight of Cups is that's interested in you and who's coming towards you, or they are themselves this Knight of Cups, and they're interested in coming towards you. Maybe they're even told about that situation of you releasing something and then it kind of like falling apart after you left. And this person kind of admiring you, and then they're just like, wow, like, I kind of want to learn more about them. I kind of want to like see if maybe they'd be interested in me. It's cute. But yeah, you're really standing out in a big way with this part of the reading. And that's probably something that somebody's saying here. The World card. This, I think, actually matches this message perfectly, because it feels like with the World card, it's about completing one cycle and opening a new one. But this is like releasing that old cycle of more negative experiences, maybe learning lessons, you know, stuff like that. But then opening a new cycle of being in a higher vibration, and opening a new cycle of success, of winning, of feeling really good about things and where you're at. I want to see what's underneath that World card. The Ten of Pentacles. Are you kidding me? So you are attracting all of the abundance. The Ten of Pentacles is just as abundant as you can get, along with that Empress card. Like, this is not a joke here. You are literally attracting so much success, abundance, stability. And you're feeling really good about yourself and the life you're building for yourself, for sure. I'm just curious what's underneath that. 9 of Cups, wish fulfillment. I can't make this up. I can't make this up. This is insane. You're coming into a time of wish fulfillment, which honestly feels like manifestation to a degree. You're attracting all this abundance. People are seeing you as like leveling up in your life. And like, it feels almost like you're unstoppable. People know that they can't stand in your way. I think a lot of people don't even want to stand in your way, but the people that do, they're not going to risk that. Especially if they see people from your past getting karma that they deserve. People are probably going to be way too scared to mess with you in the future, I'm just saying. Because it's like, okay, clearly they have spirit on their side or something. Because this is significant. Okay, I'm just going to take a sip of water real quick. Wow. Yeah, so let's move on to the 8 of Pentacles, clarify that. Please and thank you, Spirit. What is this 8 of Pentacles about when it comes to the collective? What's the T on the collective with this 8 of Pentacles? Like, right off the bat with that 8 of Pentacles, I'm getting that you're incredibly creative, intuitive, and whatever you're working on, you are mastering it, and it's looking really good. Whatever you're working on is insanely good. You're impressing people a lot. Oh, that's too funny. Okay, I think there was just one that flipped over. Yeah, okay. That's too funny. So, the 8 of Pentacles was clarified by the 8 of Pentacles. Double confirmation for what I was just saying. You're being seen as creative, intuitive, and you're mastering whatever the heck you are working on. So lean into whatever it is that you're working on, whether it's a side project, whether it's your career. You're really good at this, and it's taking off. Buddy, please, thank you. These ants crawl on me, and then when I try to get them off of me, they're like, no, I'm good. Get off me. Go into the lot, you silly boy. Little silly Willy. There it goes. And then the 5 of Wands came out like this. That's very interesting to me. And then 2 of Wands upper. Oh, interesting. Oh, and then bottom of the deck is the King of Pentacles. This is interesting. So, I don't know if you're in a competitive field or not, but if you have any sort of competition, this competition feels really inferior compared to you in some regard. I'm not sure exactly how, but it probably will differ according to your story, but it's like whatever you're working on is visible to others, and maybe they're just like, maybe even just picking up on it through your energy and the way you're showing up. You don't have to necessarily be doing anything that's like in the public eye or whatever. It could just be coming through your energy that you're like setting yourself up for success. And it feels like people are comparing themselves to you. And it's like, these could be people that are like very competitive. So it could even be completely unrelated to your career field. It could just be somebody just wanting to compete with you because they maybe have issues with their ego or something. But with the way it came out like this, it almost feels like these people that would typically be very competitive, maybe have an ego, you know, like, oh, I'm the best of the best, nobody can beat me. They're doubting themselves quite significantly. And when I see like things, cards coming out in this direction, to me it speaks of holding someone back, holding something back in a negative way. So it's almost like these people that would typically, you know, kind of try to antagonize people, compete with them, whatever, they are really hesitant to do that with you, because it's like, you know what the heck you're talking about, you know your stuff, whatever it is, you're really good at it. And so now they're afraid to enter any sort of competition with you, because it almost feels like it would be pointless for them to enter this competition with you. And it really doesn't feel, to me it just feels like this is some kind of competition that somebody has in their head. Like, it's really just to soothe their own ego, and I don't think it's really, you know, helpful or really that serious. Like, it feels kind of just petty. But on the bright side, these people that thought about getting competitive with you, they're too scared to. I'm just gonna say it, that's what I'm feeling. They're too scared to get competitive with you, because it's like, I don't want to embarrass myself by trying to compete with somebody that's better than me. It's kind of, you know, the energy, and that's kind of weird, but whatever. And then the Two of Wands is a card of planning for your future. And there's also that part of, like, if you feel like something's missing, you're planning to, you know, set yourself up for receiving that thing that you feel like you're missing. And I feel like people see this, and it feels very much, especially because that Eight of Pentacles was clarified by the Eight of Pentacles, you have your eyes on the prize, and nobody can distract you from your goals right now. And that's what people are picking up on. Is like, there's no way that anybody's gonna stop the collective from achieving their manifestations. To, like, nobody's gonna stop you from manifesting the things you want for your future to look like. And the globe he's holding in his hand, so it's like, yeah, you have the whole world at your fingertips. Like, you're so powerful, and people are seeing that, and they're like, okay, I'm just gonna, you know, I was thinking of messing with them, but I think I'm gonna head out. And honestly, I think that's a you know, a beneficial energy. I think typically is like, you know, we don't want people just coming into our lives just to create drama just for the heck of it, you know. And that's kind of what it felt like. So I feel like, yeah, maybe it was something necessary for Spirit to kind of step in there and be like, are you sure you want to do this? Are you sure you want to compete with this person? Because they are on top of it. But yeah, this is the word on the street. It's like people are like talking about how successful you are, or how you're going to be very successful. And so people that may have thought, oh, what's the big deal about the collective? I can do that. Or, you know, I bet I could do that better than them. The people that were thinking about that are like, oh, maybe I shouldn't, you know, maybe they are really good. And, you know, like, maybe I'm not as, you know, capable as I may think I am, or something like that. So it's like, it's almost like somebody's talking to somebody that would have maybe been more inclined to be competitive with you. But it's like, through this conversation with this other person, they're hearing how capable you are, how fierce you are, how you are on top of whatever it is that you're doing. And pretty much like, it's pointless to compete with this person because they're so on top of things. That's what I'm feeling with that message there. So this person that was thinking about getting competitive with you, or trying to show off in some way, they're hearing on the street that you're doing really good, and so they're like, oh, okay, maybe I'll just do something else then, you know, kind of thing. And then at the bottom of the deck, the King of Pentacles, I think that you're impressing someone. This could be a manager, this could be a boss, a person in a position of power that's kind of like seeing what you've got going on. This is somebody that's a really hard worker, so they're probably seeing in you a very hard worker. And so whether this is romantic or in a career, they are very attracted to your hard-working ethic. And so I almost feel like either they are interested in that from a romantic position, or they're really into that because they need somebody like you on their team. So you could be attracting somebody in terms of a career opportunity, but you could also be attracting someone in terms of a romantic opportunity as well. Let's see what's underneath that, I'm curious. Eight of Wands, so this is incoming communication, usually quick, usually positive. So it's probably this King of Pentacles communicating something, whether it's, I really like your work, let's collaborate maybe, would you want to work with me, I have this position open, or romantically they could be like, I really think it's really attractive, you know, how hardworking you are and how you don't give up. I find that an incredibly attractive quality, you know, and that's kind of the, you know, vibes. Either way you slice it. I want to see what's underneath this Eight of Wands. Justice. So if you in the past have been feeling like maybe effed over, underappreciated, not being seen for how freaking awesome you truly are, that is all changing for you. The scales are being balanced. The truth is coming to light. And you're going to be properly compensated in some way. Whether that's in a karmic way, whether that's in a finances way. Like, it feels like you're going to be receiving some sort of payoff because of what you're doing right now and how good you're doing at it. I love that energy so much. Okay, let's go on to the Fool card and see what that's about. Please and thank you, Spirit. What is the T on the collective with this Fool card? Please and thank you. What's the T? What's the hot goss with this Fool card here for the collective? Please and thank you, Spirit. For the collective, please and thank you. Anything else for that Fool card? Please and thank you, Spirit. Alright. This is interesting. Okay, so clarifying that Fool card, we have the Death card coming out this way. Ooh, I'm getting a download with that. That's really beautiful. Anyways, Nine of Cups upright. And then the Three of Swords came out this way. Very interesting. First off, the download I'm getting with the Death card coming out like this, clarifying the Fool, is something looks like a big transformation or a big rebirth, but it's almost like you had, how do I word this? It's almost like people from your past probably didn't see your potential when you were maybe just a little baby, you know, before you had fully come into who you are and before you gained your confidence, before you grew into the person that you are today. I feel like people could have seen you and overlooked you, thought that you weren't all that, thought that you weren't as smart as you are, that you weren't as whatever. And so they could have really overlooked you and thought like, oh, that person's not going anywhere. They're never going to be successful. They don't have what it takes, blah, blah, blah. But because of the Death card coming out like this, it feels to me like what looks like a transformation is not true. I think you did go through a sense of a transformation, but it almost feels like it's more so bringing out what has already been within you the whole time. What was overlooked by other people, that's coming to light. That's, you know, rising from the depths of you. And it's like what was already within you, your intelligence, your charisma, your resilience, your stick-to-itiveness, your optimism, whatever it is. It's like coming to the surface so that everyone can see it. And some people could be like, wow, like what happened to so-and-so? Like what happened to the collective? They're suddenly glowing up. They're suddenly really successful. They're suddenly, you know, attractive even. It could be anything. And it's like, wow, I didn't realize they had it in them. And I feel like that's kind of what this Death card could be indicating, is like what people thought was this huge transformation. Maybe on your end doesn't feel like that big of a transformation because it was really just about accessing and trusting those parts of you that maybe people downplayed, made you believe that you weren't those things, like intelligent, charismatic, funny, whatever. You know, people like to kind of downplay other people's qualities, especially when you're growing up and developing. People can be very judgmental. And so I feel like that sense of being judged to a degree. But it feels too like with the way that this came out, there's something about, you know, and I still kind of stand behind that it's not so much a transformation of you turning into a different person, but transforming in the sense of you bringing out your best qualities and the world seeing those qualities about you, maybe for the first time. Even people from your past are seeing this for the first time, like, oh, I didn't know that they were going to be successful. I didn't know they had it in them, kind of thing. But also, with it coming out like this, it almost feels like people seeing this in you feel a sense of like, well, I can't do that. You know, I can't just start over again. I can't just transform myself. Or maybe they feel like they're lacking those characteristics within themselves that you have. It's like your special qualities. Maybe they feel like I can't become who they became because I don't have it in me. Maybe the resilience, maybe the fortitude, the ability to really stick with something here. And they're like kind of, to an extent, I think there is like a sense of envy that coming from this person that's saying this, because I feel like they almost feel jealous of how you have transformed in the public eye. But again, it wasn't really that much of a transformation because it was about bringing out your best qualities and the parts of you that you thought either didn't exist or weren't that important or whatever. You're owning all of that. You're owning your whole self. You're becoming super confident in who you are. And that's like making a huge impact. So some people are probably like, well, I don't know how they did it, so I can't do it. Like, I don't know how they did all that, you know? And it feels a little bit envious, but also there's like, I feel this sense of like being kind of impressed. Like, wow, is that really the same person there? Like, they look completely different, or they really are doing something completely different than I thought they would be doing. It's like this sense of being impressed, but maybe a little bit jealous at the same time, where it's like, damn, I wish I could do that. Like, I wish I had that glow up. I wish I had, you know, whatever. That's what I'm feeling with this death card, is like, it's not as crazy as everybody thinks it is, kind of thing. It's like, some people could be thinking that you just naturally grew these qualities out of nowhere, but I feel like you've always had them within you. It was just a matter of you accessing them, trusting in them, owning them, and like, you know, embracing them. Yeah. And then with that 9 of Cups upright, that is speaking to me about wish fulfillment, and I feel like this is about you receiving your manifestations. So it's like whoever this is, they're seeing that there is payoff for the person that you have turned yourself into, and it really was just embracing who you are. But you're attracting a lot of things to you. Also, I feel like you're becoming super happy within who you are, or at least very content with who you are. Because it's like you're finally valuing yourself fully, and you're not questioning your own worthiness anymore. You know what you have working for you, and you own that, and you don't apologize for it. This is really beautiful energy. I love that. I really actually like how the 3 of Swords came out, which is funny because the 3 of Swords is usually like a kind of depressing card, usually like heartbreak, could even be third-party situations, you know, just feeling really betrayed and bad. But with the way it came out, I think this is impressing somebody because you've been hurt multiple times by multiple different people, situations, things, but you did not let this defeat you. With it coming out in this direction, you're using these heartbreaks, these experiences of the past to learn something, to gain knowledge, wisdom, experience, and you're letting it lead the way for you. You're transmuting that negative energy into positive energy that fuels you, fuels your fire. And that's astonishing is what I feel. Like, people are looking at you like, how? You know, like, maybe these are even people that wanted you to stay stuck or wanted you to stay in a low vibration because maybe they were one of these people that were hurting you or had hurt you. And so they're like, damn it, I really thought that I, you know, kind of removed that sense of optimism, or I really thought that I had them under my thumb, or, You know, I really thought that I sabotaged what they had really good when I knew them or something like that. But here you are just proving everyone wrong. And you're just showing up in this beautiful, radiant energy and you're like, yes, what is it? Do you have anything to say about, and it's like, people are just astonished. Like, how do you take such negative experiences and turn them into positivity and help, how do you get them to help you along your path and use them to go forward instead of being held back or staying stagnant? So it's like people, I think you're getting a mixture of people here with this one, where it's like some people are envious, some people are impressed, and then there's people that kind of fluctuate between the two, where it's like, this is really impressive objectively, but I am a little bit jealous because I'm not really where they're at in their own life, but they're very impressed with you. It's like almost like they can't deny that even if they're jealous, it's like you still deserve your roses, your flowers, your whatever that saying is. You still deserve whatever is coming in, but also this recognition, reputation that you're gaining for yourself. People are saying that, like, yeah, you earned this. I love that. Bottom of the deck is the Ten of Pentacles. People are... So either you're setting yourself up for some major success and people can see this in you, or you already are in this period of success and abundance, and they're just like, whoa. Like, because this is serious abundance, serious stability, serious accomplishments here. The life you're building for yourself is, I keep getting astonishing. Like, I literally feel like people could even look you up on social media and like their mouths like hang open because they're just like, how? You could have even been bullied, maybe for how you looked when you were little, or for maybe who you were. Maybe you were kind of weird, and you were maybe teased, made fun of for that, and now those qualities that people were harping on when you were little, younger, those are now being seen as strengths. Very beautiful. So I feel like this is almost a learning experience for the people that are seeing you glow up in your life, because they're seeing what is really possible. Okay, let's see what's underneath this Ten of Pentacles. King of Cups. So, somebody that has very intense, deep emotions for you could be trying to come towards you. Maybe they would like to partake in this Ten of Pentacles with you, build a happy home, happy life together. They would be a good match for you because you were showing up as the Queen of Cups earlier. This is regardless of gender. Usually the masculine energy is just more of an action-based energy, whereas the feminine energy could be more emotional or tied to the emotions a little bit more, and more so in receiving mode. So like while you're chilling, looking awesome, this person's like, I really want to go towards them and express these feelings I have for them. I'm curious what's underneath that. Page of Pentacles. So yeah, maybe this is somebody that you don't know super well right now, but they have really deep feelings for you or something. I almost wonder if they're learning things secondhand, if that makes any sense, about you. Like either word on the street, or maybe they're seeing your accomplishments in some regard, or maybe they see you working really hard at something and they're very impressed with you, and so they want to like build something with you. So maybe they're coming in and like, you want to build something together maybe? I'm just curious, would you want to do that? Nice. Okay, let's go into the Knight of Swords. Clarification for that Knight of Swords, please, and thank you, Spirit. What is the tea, the hot goss of the collective with the Knight of Swords? Knight of Swords, please, and thank you, Spirit. What's going on with that? What's going on with that, please, and thank you, Spirit? What's going on with that Knight of Swords, please, and thank you? What's going on with that Knight of Swords? Please name the Spirit. Anything else for that Knight of Swords? Okay. So clarifying that Knight of Swords, we have the Star card coming out like this. That's really not surprising to me. Page of Cups upright. Bottom of the deck is the Hermit, but it started to shift off to show the Queen of Swords underneath, so that could be significant in some way. But off the bat, the Knight of Swords is quick incoming communication, somebody that has something to tell you and it just can't wait kind of thing. Really excited to come towards you to share something with you. And you're in this star energy, which are we really that surprised that you're in the star energy when you're looking like a whole star here? You're glowing, people are really noticing you, you're being appreciated, like obviously you're gonna be in the star energy, right? But that is the energy that you're embodying to this person, this Knight of Swords, and it's encouraging them, it's motivating them, it's inspiring them to come towards you, because it's like once in a lifetime opportunity, or like you're like the type of person that just does not come around every dynasty. The Mulan quote. Yeah, you're like so individual, unique, like, but somebody's like, oh my gosh, like this may be my dream person. I might have to, like, you know, step up before somebody else comes in, you know? Because they're seeing how freaking awesome you are and how unique you are, how giving you are as well. You're very connected to the divine. I feel like you're here to serve the world in some regard, because you heal not only yourself but others as well. And I feel like you almost do that naturally as a byproduct of who you are. Like who you are today inspires, it heals other people, it shows people what is possible. And then we have the Page of Cups upright. So I feel like this could definitely be somebody new, somebody that's definitely romantically interested in you, and they want to see, like, would you maybe want to, like, flirt a little bit? Would you want to, what a date? It's one of those bugs that are like really small, so I'm like afraid to touch it because it will be like, I'll accidentally kill it, you know, because it's so small. I'll just accidentally squish it if I try to take it off me. Little buddy though, you should probably go. Oh. Would you rather have a leaf? Would you rather have a leaf? Come on, buddy. I don't know what's poison ivy, so I feel like I shouldn't try to grab any random leaves. You wanna go on my waterfall instead? It's pink. You wanna go on my what? Oh, okay. Apparently I like my leaves. Sorry for that distraction. Anywho, yeah, this is somebody that's romantically interested in you, and they would like to come forward to see if you're interested in them, or at least interested in getting to know them in that way. The Hermit. You know, even though this person's coming in a way that may seem impulsive, the Hermit would indicate that this is somebody very mature, but also probably somebody that's kind of meditated on this connection that they feel for you. And it could have even felt like maybe a little bit what's the word? You know, lacking self-confidence. Maybe judging themselves to a degree and making themselves out to be somebody that's not really all that compared to you. And so maybe they at first was like, there's no way that person's gonna be interested in me. But now it's like, since they maybe did this hermit mode of kind of like reflecting on things, reflecting on themselves, meditating on this, they're like, yeah, it's like they feel more confident in themselves, and when they leave that hermit mode, it's like they probably have a better understanding of themselves and maybe of this connection too. And then we saw earlier the Queen of Swords underneath. So I almost feel like this person could even sort of see you as the Queen of Swords, like somebody that may have their guard up to a degree, or maybe somebody that's a little head over heart. So maybe you think that, or this is how they are viewing it, it's like they may be afraid that you may just see them as, you know, completely unworthy of you. This is what they fear. And so they're like, oh, if they said something mean to me, I could never recover, kind of thing. But I don't think you're like that. I think you're much more kind than that. And maybe it's just because they don't know you that well. They just like see somebody that's really awesome and they're like, they're gonna demolish me if I try to come towards them, but I want to come towards them anyways. Is kind of the energy. I want to see what's underneath that Queen of Swords. The Sun card. You make this person so incredibly happy. Their inner child feels very safe with you, but also it's like you're a ray of sunshine anywhere you go is what I'm getting. Like you're just this bright light in the world, and so obviously they're like attracted to you. They find you very warm, inviting. You have that kind of energy that just like makes them feel really warm inside, makes them feel like, wow, like who is that, you know? Like you bring a very beautiful energy into this person's life, and so that's probably why they're so motivated to come towards you. Nice, okay. So that's that for you, like that little bit of tea. It's just somebody that really wants to come towards you because you're freaking awesome. You know, I can't blame them. I feel like that's completely on point with this whole reading. And then we have the Seven of Wands at the bottom of the deck. So you're doing your thing. You're fighting for what you want. You're standing out in a big way. You're becoming successful against the odds. The odds were stacked against you, and somehow you're still coming out on top. And this is impressing a lot of people, okay? So this is probably on like people's lips. It's like how they do that. Like how they do that though. Because it's impressive. They don't see this every day. They don't see this happening every day. What's underneath this? Nine of Swords. Oh. That's an interesting message. I'm actually getting the message that these people that see you accomplishing a lot for yourself, they are anxious and worried and may even be losing sleep over this, but I don't think it's necessarily in the way of like, well, it could be in the way of like maybe they didn't want you to become successful, but on the other hand, it almost feels like Bumblebee. That could be significant. Hardworking. Anyways, and community-based. Anyways. It's almost like they don't want to be exposed. Because if you're in the spotlight looking fantastic like you are, you could shed light on these people that hurt you, that deceived you, that did something kind of slimy in the past. And so these people could be losing sleep over the fact that you're in the spotlight and they're standing over here like, please don't talk about what I did, please don't talk about what, you know, kind of thing. But honestly, you're so like mature, grown, focusing on yourself. I don't think you're even giving these people a second thought. You're like so, you know, here and now. You're probably not even like, and sure, maybe every once in a while you're like, oh damn, that person was really mean to me in the past, but overall you're just like, I got way too much stuff on my plate to worry about people from my past and what they did to me. I think I'm over that for the most part, you know? But I feel like it's stressing out those people that did hurt you because they don't want to be exposed for that. And that's their own hang up. But yeah, it's causing them a lot of anxiety, sleepless nights, whatever. Maybe that's their karma, to be worried that you may expose them at any point. Like, yeah, okay. Let's see what's underneath that Nine of Swords. Two of Pentacles. You're gaining a lot of balance within yourself, within your life. I honestly even feel like maybe in the past you were this type of person that was very anxious, struggling with mental health in some regard, but you've balanced yourself out. You're so much more stable than you used to be. And people aren't used to that maybe. And maybe they don't know how to like trigger you the same way that they used to. and get a certain reaction out of you like they used to. But again, that's all their own hang up. It has nothing to do with you. I think you're really too busy being successful and having so many things go your way. I don't think you're even thinking of these people. But of course, because you're standing out, they're like, oh, now they have maybe a platform or an audience or people that care about them, so now they can expose the truth of what I did or something. But I really don't think that you're thinking about all that. There we go. Sorry again, got it on me. I had to release them. Okay, let's see what the Oracle has to say or add to this juicy reading. Anything about the tea on the collective, please in the spirit with these Oracle cards. Any other messages? Ooh. Okay. Beautiful. Wow. Okay, so the first one is the deer and oat. This represents healing, which I feel like you've done a lot of healing. People are seeing that. You're healing in the way of like moving on from your past and the things that tried to hold you back. This is the crow in dogwood. It represents intelligence. I feel like I mentioned at one point in this reading that maybe people didn't think you were that smart or intelligent, or they doubted that you had intelligence or something like that. And so I think this is just emphasizing that you're one smart cookie. And the thing that a lot of people don't realize about intelligence is there's more than one way to be intelligent. It could be emotional intelligence. It could be people intelligence. You just know how people work. Like, you're a lot smarter than people think. And maybe you use that in your benefit. And I feel like, yeah, you were given that intelligence for a reason. But now people are finally actually seeing like, oh, they actually are kind of smart. They actually know what they're doing. Okay. So people that maybe downplayed your intelligence in the past, or, you know, maybe you weren't book smart, you know, in the way of like the public school system, which, you know, personally for me, I didn't do very well in school. I did a lot better in college, but that was for different reasons and stuff. But yeah, you could be somebody that grew up getting really bad grades. There could have been a lot behind that too, and maybe, you know, it could even been like undiagnosed, like ADHD or something. You know, like it could have been anything that impacted your ability to show up as a smart person. You know, anyways. And then this is the eel and iris, and it represents safety. So something about you being protected, you being very capable of creating a safe place for yourself. I feel like something about the home is significant with that one. You may have like a very beautiful home, or just a home that has good vibes. Maybe the way you decorate. You could be somebody that puts up tapestries to kind of add a little bit more warmth to your, maybe you rent an apartment and you're not allowed to paint the walls. So you're like, well, I gotta add my character or express myself some way, you know? So maybe you put up like tapestries, posters, artwork, I don't know. But it feels like you create a very nice, warm and home environment, and that's maybe like your safe space, where you can kind of just go there and feel like you're calm, feel like you're grounded, feel like you have that place that you can just really breathe. And that, I think, also adds to your success, because you're taking care of yourself on so many levels. So this is actually interesting. So the bottom of the deck is the vulture and the asphodel, and it's representing upheaval. And so I think that this is, or at least the way I interpret it, is kind of like as the Tower card. But the thing about Tower cards is that they don't always have to be negative. They can be things shaking up. Well, and honestly, Tower cards, the thing is, like, they may appear really negative and chaotic at first, but typically what is being demolished is something that was never meant to stand for very long in the first place. So it's like something had to crumble so that you could build something better in its place, something more stable, something more long lasting. And so I feel like there's like this upheaval. Honestly, this could be even upheaval in the minds of others that are seeing you become successful. And they're just like, their mind's being blown, and maybe their whole reality of what they thought was reality, they're realizing that their view of reality wasn't really true. Such as, discrediting your intelligence, your abilities, your ability to be successful. And now they're finally seeing it, and it's shaking them up, And reasonably so, I feel like, because it's like, from their perspective, they didn't know you had it in you, but you're showing them. But also, I feel like this is also in the way of, like, you're shaking up your own life and building something so much better in the place of whatever you had going on in your past. So if you were going through it, if you were struggling, if you were judged for who you were, things are shaking up in a crazy way where you're gonna end up on top. And it was funny because this started to slip off and expose what's underneath, which is the hawk and thistle. And this represents graceful persistence. Ooh, that hits me in a beautiful way. To me, it's almost like because you've been very gracefully persistent with whatever you're doing, that's why things are changing for you in such a big way. And on top of that, I'm getting, like, on top of everything, like, it's not even just that you're super intelligent, super capable, super successful, attracting everything you want, but also on top of it, you look good while you're doing it. That's like the cherry on top. That could drive some people crazy. People that didn't want you to succeed are like, okay, so they have everything going for them, and they're hot, and they're classy, and they're looking really good. Like, these people are probably like standing there like, damn, they're winning in every single way. And it's like, sorry, I did the work. I did my individual work, I did my inner work, I did my spiritual work. I did that, and I'm just naturally attracting these blessings now. Sorry, it just is what it is, But you're looking really good at the same time of all these things working out for you. That was a beautiful reading. I really hope that this resonated with somebody out there, because this energy is dynamite. And I mean dynamite. This is shaking up a lot of people, but honestly, at the end of the day, it's what's meant to happen, and it's honestly serving as an example, as a lesson for those people that thought, that maybe did judge a book by its cover, But you're showing them. You're showing them what is actually possible. And maybe people thought that what you're achieving was impossible. But you're showing people that what was once impossible can become possible. I literally have goosebumps right now. And it's pretty warm outside today. Yeah. Literally, like, you're blowing people's minds. Like, I don't know what else to say, but this was a beautiful reading. And I think that's a perfect place to wrap up. Oh my gosh, just gorgeous energy, and I'm so proud of you, and I'm so happy for you. But anyways, what is my outro? Oh, I really hope that you enjoyed this, and if it resonated at all, feel free to like, comment, share, and subscribe. If you subscribe, you can become a part of the Hive Collective, because my name is Bee. Bees live in hives, and you can become an honorary bee, like me, and we can be a little bee family together. If you like my readings and you'd like to see more, be sure to click that bell icon down below so that you can be notified in the future when I upload more. Also, Spirit showed me, because I said in the last reading, face reading, that, oh, they don't get that many views, so, I'm not going to be doing them as much. And then, I said something along the lines in that video of like, I get maybe 20 views and that's at the maximum, right? That video that I uploaded now is at like 25 views. So it surpassed what I thought it would get at the maximum, which is Spirit's way of telling me, get your ass in front of that camera and do some more tarot readings, okay? So, Spirit can't say that I'm not adaptable and I'm not able to realize when I'm wrong, okay? I was wrong, Spirit, okay? These face readings actually do matter, and I should be doing more of them. That's how I interpret it. So, I'm going to be doing these a little bit more often, I think, and maybe I'll kind of chill out on the non-face short readings. Mosquito. That's the one guy I don't want landing on me in these woods. Oh, that sounds weird. I just meant like ants I don't mind, spiders I don't mind, but mosquito. Anyways. What was I saying? Pretty much I'm going to be doing more of these face readings in the future. So if you really do enjoy them, I'll be doing some more. Yeah, maybe I should just go back and forth between like the shorts and the face readings, because like I think they're liked for maybe different reasons, and maybe who knows. Anyways, thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate you, and I can't wait to see you in the next one. Bye.